The Skillshare is a concept developed by ActionAid Kenya together with Vietnam and 15 other countries in collaboration with TCDC and Ennis Unit on Shared Learning and Knowledge. And this time it's a Skillshare on feminist lens to our accountability program work. We are actually talking about in this Skillshare how we can apply a feminist lens in our program work based on feminist principles, and that will define what we mean with a feminist lens. And we also want to see how we can use tools like power analysis and the triangular analysis that will now guide our work in the new global strategy. We will in this Skillshare hear inspirational practices from at least 5 countries and hear how they have applied this important work in their programs in 5 countries.
ActionAid worked on the Women Right program for a long time, but in the new strategies, ActionAid International committed to use the feminism lens throughout our work to address the root cause of gender inequalities as well as patriarchy system. Also, that is about the social norm also. Because that is the new way that we can bring all the participants come from different countries where we learn a lot of practice. For example, people come from Australia, Kenya, Cambodia, Myanmar. So we can share the practicals that we are doing. And it is not about the teacher or student learning something. It is about the sharing methods. Besides that, why we selected Vietnam, and especially for community knowledge centers. Community knowledge centers, we go in short, that is CKC. That is the training centers created by ActionAid Vietnam and Aid for the Social Protection Program Foundation in Vietnam. These centers will provide high quality training to group the practitioners to strengthen their work of the civil society organization. And this is the good idea when we can organize the Skillshare in Vietnam.
In this first module, we looked at an introduction to why a feminist lens in ActionAid programming, and we were focusing on a feminist lens or understanding of feminism in terms of it being an analytical framework, it being an ideology and political position, as well as a social change strategy. So when you go through that module, that's what you're going to be able to go through. So in Module 2, you will have an opportunity to apply the conceptual understanding of what a feminist lens is applied to our programs through the case study of Sonali, where we ask the question of why did Sonali die? It's a story of a young woman aged 33 in summary, who wanted to access reproductive health rights. The law allowed her to access, but only with permission from her husband. She was not empowered enough to be able to get access to reproductive health rights because she didn't have money. She stayed very far from the hospital, the doctors, the nurses, her aunt, and discouraged her from getting reproductive rights. So it's an analysis applying a feminist lens of why this young woman died and how we can help to stop similar deaths happening. So that's what that module is about.
Session 2 is on sharing of experiences. That is accountability in practice, to deepen understanding of tools used in application of feminism lens in accountability. In the room we have a wealth of information from Vietnam, Cambodia, Australia, Myanmar to Kenya. We encourage sharing of experiences from each of these countries on how they're using their tools through peer-to-peer learning. We look at the learnings from these countries, their pros and cons in using their tools, and how the participants have used the feminist lens in advancing the women's rights program.
The legal environment in feminism through HRBA. And it is all about the environment in terms of the laws that we have. We also look at the global picture. The global picture has that of the conventions. You have at the international level, you have the conventions, and you have a lot of conferences that have been held for the advancement of women in different areas and in different parameters. And so this will help us to understand from the different countries their own legal environment, the laws, the institutions that are supposed to carry out all of that. At the international level, you have it was Millennium Development Goals, and now it's gone to the Sustainable Development Goals. A lot of it has to do with advancing the cause of women and also the areas of poverty. We work with the poor, especially women and the marginalized people, to understand the legal environment.
This training, we have the participation of ActionAid International General Secretary, Mr. Adriano Campolina. The General Secretary addressed the participant and explained why ActionAid takes a feminist approach. It's about being decisive and committed to addressing the patriarchy, being aware of how we address power, and working for a transformation that is for social justice. It built on ActionAid's long-standing commitment to promote the women's rights, challenges participants to move on from theoretical concepts of feminism to a practical ones. For the field trip, the participants divide in 3 groups, and then they have chance to discuss about unpaid work, subsidies, and also migrant workers. Migrant workers will be the group they don't have any knowledge. Then the participant can comparing about the knowledge and awareness from 2 different other groups. Haiphong was selected for the field trip because Haiphong is a rapid industrialization, and where we have a lot of industries and opportunity for women. As women access new jobs in factories, issues like domestic violence, safety, unpaid work, and decent jobs become more pressing. The highlight of the field trip were the chance to speak to women about how concepts of feminism play out in their daily lives and what solutions they have to the challenges they face. Speaking to a group of migrant workers in particular gave participants an understanding of complex challenges women face.
We have now finalized 5 days of Skillshare with the topic how we apply a feminist lens to our program accountability work. We have asked participants in the beginning of the week to rate how they saw their own knowledge around how to apply it and what it actually means when they explain to partners, and also why we apply it. And we can see now when the participants have been rating again one more time by the end of the week that they are all rating a score very high, that they now know exactly what it is, why they apply it, and they also know how to apply it. So this means that we can confidently say that the participants will move back to their own context and they will actually know exactly how to apply the new tools that they have heard about, which is, for instance, the power analysis, it's the triangular analysis, and a lot of other new tools that they have learned about. So I'm very confident that this is going to make a huge impact in the programs at country level.
I am really interested with the Skillshare today because of 2 things. The first thing is that I can learn from the training about the feminist lens. Previously, I have heard a lot about the word feminist lens, but I don't really know what it is. After the training, I get a clear picture that feminist lens is all about voice, choice, powers, equality, and justice. So I can clear out my doubt. And the second thing is that I have no new tool that I can use to apply the feminist lens into my country.
I've really enjoyed this training. I think it's been really valuable. It's been really useful to connect with colleagues from around the Federation to understand what they're doing using a feminist lens in their work. It's also been really useful to come to understand the different tools that we use to do feminist analysis and how we should be approaching the work that we're doing in communities around the world. And I've really gotten a lot out of it. I've learned a lot.
I think this is a very useful course for all of us when we can come together and share our experience and learning and knowledge. We are all coming from different countries and we have different programs, but we all have the same mission and vision. So it's very necessary for us to come together and ensure that we are going on the same tracks. And this is also the chance for all of the countries to introduce their programs and to learn from ourselves and develop actively.
I think the course was a high success as the reflection you just heard. The next step where the participants will be the core trainer on the same issues in many other training courses, and as well as how ActionAid as a whole can support these actions and make it expanded.
Solidarity,
inspire,
enlightening,
open,
energized,
accountability,
participatory,
timely,
Clear mind.
I've got lens,
helpful,
super, wonderful, learning.
ActionAid.
We are active.
we